Hello, welcome to the latest episode of Through the Pages. I am here with a doozy of a book to read in a pandemic, Severance by Ling. So, this was written in 2018, pre-pandemic. It is about a pandemic that wipes out a lot of the earth. It's a fever. She is in New York, and this book was basically written. It's a dark satire, so there is humor in it. It's not a doom and gloom thing so directly, but it was basically written when she was a fact checker for Playboy and then got laid off. So this was written while she was on severance pay. Originally a short story, and then had like one chapter kind of floated out, was getting critical acclaim, and went the whole book with it. Obviously, no one could have known real pandemic coming. I knew the book was about like end of the world. Didn't think it was such a parallel to our world. I read it at a time when I was kind of at a pandemic wall and didn't need that on top of it, but got through it anyways. And I shouldn't say got through it because it's a very good book. Read it at a time when, if you're seeing this when we're still in the pandemic, when you have a little bit more fortitude, a little more built up, and you can handle it. There's humor in it. It's like an undercurrent. The choppy waves on top are very similar to our world. That pandemic in the book is much harsher. I won't give away a ton of it, but the details of how it affects people are far worse. But so it kind of has two timelines, pre-pandemic and then after, and kind of how things sync up. It's very witty, not to the point where it feels like the book is a joke, but like it's like the saving grace of it to read at this point in life. But yeah, the comedy kind of grew and grew. It was like exponential as it kept going. So basically, like, with not giving too much away here, like, pandemic comes, she's still going into work, and it's kind of a tale of this, like, of capitalism in America, and people that are still just so, like, brainwashed by it, in a sense, like, that she was supposed to, work till a certain time and get this big pay at the end, and she's like, I gotta get to this date, I gotta keep working, and stuff, and, like, there's no one around, and stuff, and, like, It took me a while to see the humor in such a dark scenario, because I was just so like, that's us, that's our world. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I don't remember how this came to be on my list, but I can tell you, if she has another book come out, I'll be buying it right away. It's kind of a tricky book to review, I feel, without giving a lot away. It drummed up a lot of emotions in this, both good and bad for me. The positive was that, like, it's like, wow, this could be so much worse. And 2 books ago, knocking out 3 reviews today, I also read Stitching Revolution, and so reading about the AIDS epidemic, also, I would say worse. Like, yeah, the way that coronavirus affects us overall, I think, is less compared to how AIDS affects, and then how this fever affects. So there's a certain amount of, like, life's fucking intense, but it could be so many notches more escalated. But climate change will come. No worry, it'll get escalated, guys. Don't worry. Yeah, and then obviously hard feelings because of, like, it's reflective enough. It's closer to reality than most books. Closer to reality than almost any novel that doesn't have a pandemic in it. So there's that. But she walks the line really well. I was talking to a friend about it on a porch who actually read it. Yesterday we were talking and said, when the pandemic first started, I forget who the comedian was, but someone came out with like a pandemic stand-up special, like right out of the gate. And I was just like repelled. I was like, I don't want that at all. I want to escape. I don't want to just be reminded, like, remember the COVID? It's out there. Remember, world's fucked up. Like, and so kind of shied away from it, but then all of a sudden I flipped sort of, or my script started to kind of flip where like you watch shows or movies that have nothing about it and it just feels like it's another world. Like it's so removed from reality that fiction that does have that real element in it now, when it's not like trumped up and exacerbated and like made to be way worse, like it's just like like how we're living. Like I kind of like it now. Like I don't know, maybe if like is the right word, but like appreciate it. So I think I was ready to read this, barely. But yeah, I would recommend it. Also, like I keep holding it up, the cover is just a beautiful color. So it doesn't really like come here with the lighting, but it's like it's borderline what my walls are, and I like that. You've heard me say it. Judge books by their cover. This cover pretty simple, pretty great. Yeah, really fascinating book, but I would almost recommend trying to balance it out with something that's like positive. So if after that dystopian bit you need something utopian, check out Ecotopia. Also has humor in it, but yeah, balance it out maybe, because that kind of left me in a dark place. Thank you for watching this episode. I hope you're making it all right through the pandemic. And if you have any more books to read during a pandemic, drop it in the comments.